There we go.
Are we on the record now? Let's call to order the meeting of the Boulder Creek Recreation and Park District Board of Directors at 7:14 p.m. on April 12th, 2017. Can I call for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Whoa.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now for the roll call.
Director Hamilton is present.
Director Valdivia is here.
Director Galt is here.
Director Fitzgerald is here. And our wonderful manager, Hallie Green, is also present. Director Gardes is not present, but is excused. Who would like to read the mission statement?
Brian.
I would love to. Our mission statement is to provide quality programs and services through the provision of facilities, parks, and activities which enrich and improve the quality of life for people living in our community.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I do. I move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Moved by Hamilton, seconded by Galt. Is there any board comment relating to the, is there any public comment relating to the approval of the agenda? Seeing as there are no members of the public present, is there any board comment relating to the approval of the agenda?
Well, two of my imaginary friends are here.
Should I call the question?
Please do.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Moving on to the next item, oral communications. As there are no members of the public present, we will move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve.
Valdivia moves. Is there a second?
Yes, I will second, although I actually haven't read the minutes. So, has somebody read the minutes?
We have a provisional second by Galt. Is there any board comment? Would we all like to take a moment to read the minutes?
No. I'm sure they're fine. Take them as read.
I'm happy to take a moment.
I've skimmed them. They look fine.
Is there any board comment relating to the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Abstained? None. Moving on to board comments. Anybody have a comment?
No, go for it.
I don't really have anything to say. Just miss y'all.
So is this in your staff report about the Junction Park? Or is the security cameras just kind of like
It's not totally
we
gone.
don't have a vendor
We don't at the moment.
to do that?
No
Okay.
vendor, no.
I don't know.
So do we have any leads on like people that can come out and look
I
at
think
it?
the same company exists. I just don't. The person I was communicating with is off the map, so it's kind
Maybe I'll
of
talk to
fallen
you
in the.
outside of the just because I mean we spent all this
I
money
know,
on
yeah.
it.
I mean, we have all the equipment still, so I don't. Everything's still set up and ready. It's just the signal. And I don't know timing wise if it had something to do with other activities on the roof line, but
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that might be an easy fix.
it might be a very easy fix. So
That company is still in business.
Yeah.
I have
No, I'm
looked
sure
it
they
up,
are,
But,
but
I know
Cliff
that
Climb,
one,
Cliff,
right,
whatever,
Greenberg,
yeah.
Cliff
Mhm.
Greenberg. For the record, Cliff Greenberg.
where are you?
All right.
The other thing I noticed was like due to all of the runoff, there's like one sketchy spot. We might want to get some more of the decomposed granite coming off of where our main barbecue is. That step down, it looks like it just is a little bit sketchy, but that might be something to consider before we have, at least the art and music festival There's a step, you know what I'm talking about? There's
No.
a step that goes from the barbecue down to the picnic benches on that one side, and it just looks like just a ton of water.
Like
and-
100 inches.
Yeah, maybe like 100 inches.
Little
So
bit of
just
rain.
something to consider as
Yep.
I was
Kinda.
walking around down there. Just,
Sounds
but other than
good.
that, the park looks really good.
Nice and green, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Everything was good.
Yeah, your grapevines look good. Like Garahan, I noticed.
Anyone else?
I'm just, I'm always very interested in our income and expense statement, and it's great seeing Kids Fun Day surpass Little Explorers, and both of them leave Jazzercise in the dust, So, I mean, I hope Jazzercise is doing well. I didn't mean to be,
Right.
saying,
Yeah. No, that's
but
been the
just
same.
saying,
Yep.
these are two homegrown programs that are making bank, So, congratulations, staff, and please, keep up the good work. And obviously, it fills a need in the community,
Truly.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. I mean, Kids Fun Day looks like a gas.
It's wild. It's wild.
I bet.
over.
At that amount, I bet.
No, it's great. It's like people's second home. It's good. Good stuff. I'm happy.
Second home.
I see.
Well, I should stop by sometime. Is it like barely controlled chaos, or even?
It depends on what time you stop by.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the first hour is fun, chaotic bits, and then
You gotta feed them at some point.
Yeah.
And they go comatose, and then they rev back up.
right. Yeah, no, there's a little bits that are very exciting, and then or hey, I see someone I know, I'm gonna go out there. It's like would you do this at school? I don't know. Fun behaviors.
Yeah.
Because it's even more, little ones are so different than older kids. They have a lot more, independence.
Yeah.
At a very young age, all of a sudden.
Yeah. And more energy than
Like 5-year-old
5 adults.
conversation, I swear. It's like what I remember it.
I got some of
10.
that tonight. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Fa, 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 fa,
Yes.
fa.
Yeah, it's a trip.
So,
Good stuff, though.
Yes, I'm done, thank you.
I have been participating as a member of a special district with the county parks strategic plan process.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, tell us.
It's sort of a citizen committee. It's not really a steering committee so much, but they sort of bounce stuff off of the group of us before they present it to the public. They're going to make a public presentation in District 5 at Highlands Park on April 26th.
I saw it on the
And
schedule.
Jim Raposa, who is a Santa Cruz County Parks Commission member representing our area, and I are going to be at the sign-up table.
Oh my gosh.
And then probably participate in some stations that they have set up for people to provide input on various aspects of the whole county parks thing. It's been interesting because we've gone through that here on a much less moneyed and smaller scale, much more, board-driven type of thing. And still, that process that we went through 10 years ago, has really been able to inform them
Yeah.
through me on the process that they're going through. Because they have a whole nother layer of staff that we don't have that sort of removes them from the public experience. And so the staff doesn't necessarily have the same interaction with a board as small as ours, who has to really reach out based on our own personalities and connections to bring people in.
Mhm.
And so they come up with this stuff and they throw it at this little steering group, I wouldn't even call it a steering group. It's just sort of another layer of advisory before it hits the public. And it's been fun and entertaining. There are a few really, the other people on the board or the committee are extremely well qualified. The president of the land trust and somebody from the Santa Cruz County Arts Commission and the mental health and needle exchange program, health services organization,
Nice.
city of Watsonville, whatnot. But it was funny because getting into the last meeting, they wanted to have us gel up what their vision statement was. And as you know, we've all gone through the difference between vision and mission statements and whatnot. And they really wanted to put out this like multi-paragraph vision statement. And it was interesting to just sort of like sit with this group of people who are also community volunteers who have done community work for a really long time, especially up in this area, and say, hey, you know, that's really not, you're talking in terms of art in your industry. You're not talking to the people that you serve. And if you want to engage these people and you want to have a guiding principle, you need to be having a vision statement that's very short and concise and something that you can hold up to the light. And I read to them our mission statement. I pulled it up. And I was like, every frickin' meeting we read the mission statement, which is a bit different than a vision statement. But in our district, it's sort of one and the same because we don't have that type of organization. And it's just that simple sentence that sort of defines the credibility of the things that you do. Does it meet all part of this criteria? And we had some really good discussion around that. And so I think at their public hearing, they're not going to actually present
Ask
a
for
vision
input.
statement because, well, I think they might.
Uh-huh.
I've asked to talk to the park director before the meeting because I'm sure, I mean, the staff member is a total professional who's got all of the pedigree and the degrees and whatnot in parks and rec and whatnot. And he was sitting there looking at us like, you're a bunch of pseudo-professional board horse telling me how to do my job that I went and got a master's degree in, but very patient and very cool. But at the same time, it's like we've had direct interface with our communities, and I can tell you when you present this, at least up here in the 5th District, these are the questions that you're going to be asked and the things that people are going to pose to you that are going to be outside the scope of why you're there, but be prepared, you know, and don't present them with 5 bullet points as to what your vision statement is, and don't talk about it in terms that people don't understand. They don't want to hear about the parks, recreation, open space, cultural services, blah, blah, blah district.
Yeah, people don't really get what that all is. Yeah.
No. So it's been a very productive thing, and I'm really going to be interested in seeing how staff distills that, county staff distills that and presents it to our public up here at Highlands. It's at 6:30, and childcare on the 26th of April, and childcare will be provided. So I would encourage any of you who can to show up. They've definitely marketed it like crazy, so it'll be interesting to see who turns up.
Well, is it a place for input, or are they presenting?
Yes. It's, you know, essentially a well-moneyed version of what we did here 10 years ago. You know, when we put up
The group.
the papers and we had the public show up, we turned them out, we had them show up and tell us what they thought, you know, our goals should be over a period of time or what our role was in the community. And I even told them that. I said that was a very valuable thing, and we saved all of those things, and somewhere in our rec district we have those that we can still pull out
They're in my shop.
to justify
They're in my shop.
the
I know right-
decision making that
I
we've
know right
made
what-
over the last 10 years. I said, so if
I should
anything,
give them to you.
you shouldn't look at this as an academic statement. You should look at it as the justification for the direction that your staff
You're
takes
going,
over
yeah.
a period of time. Because if you make a really bad decision and it blows up in your face, you can pull those things out and say, but this is what you asked us to do. And they hadn't even looked at it like that. So it's been funny. It's been definitely interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that machine, because it is a huge machine. I mean, county parks is massive. Sort of distills that little bit of input with, and the other board members or committee members really concurred from their smaller entities, just saying you can't overwhelm people with bureaucratic stuff. You have to really boil it down to catchphrases that people can relate to.
Parks make
And
life better.
exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, I told him we copied our statement straight from some state park organization, but it works well because it is something that we can hold up to the light bulb and see if it, you know, it upholds the decisions that we've made since then. So I would encourage you all to try and come if you can,
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna try and be there.
it'll be interesting for sure. to watch somebody else's dog and pony show. Because, man, they've spent a lot of money on that, you know?
What type of advertising have they done for it up here? Because I haven't seen it really like in the.
They
Valley
sent out
Press
personal letters to
or-
all of the folks, you know, all of the players, like the Valley Women's Club and Hallie.
It
and-
was on the, do you get their newsletter with all the classes and stuff they offer?
They put it in their
And
And it's on, it was
newsletter.
on the whole back of that with like, yeah.
Okay.
And then I've
That's
done
the
a
only thing I
little
got
bit of
personally, like, in
promotion
my
here and
mailbox.
there on the internet. But I've been stepping kind of lightly because one of the things I told them they're going to face up here is jurisdiction confusion. I mean,
Totally.
there are a couple of issues that are going to need to be addressed. So if you show up as a board member and, you know, sort of mill about, I said, look, there are things that are going to come up that are not within the scope of the strategic plan, but I hear all the time. Number 1, dog park. Number 2, Bear Creek pool. Number 3,
dog park.
Miller property. Number 4, they don't know the difference between jurisdictions. So they don't understand. That's why I've been sort of light on pushing it because the Parks Department is not completely clear on our partnership as well. And some of that has to do with political considerations, like the whole thing about our agreement around fees. We don't pay non-resident rates anymore, but in the calendar thing they sent out to everyone, it says that we do. Well, I texted Jeff and I was like, before I answer these mommies who have taken a picture and posted it on a website with 3,000 people, I need to know that that's true, that we're not doing that because of our partnership. He's like, absolutely. So he hasn't really trickled that down to staff because
Right.
he has political considerations with the CAO's office, who looks at anything that potentially wicks away the revenue of a non-essential department as being a negative. So I get why they're sort of, you know, what's going to happen is people are going to send stuff in and I'm going to have to keep my finger on it and say, hey, Jeff, remember those 4 people that are doing processing of your fees have to make sure, you know, but it's not in the program yet type of thing. So I said, that stuff's going to come up.
As it isn't on our side either.
That's right.
Like, you know, we have this use agreement,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been kind of, you know, a bit of crickets on their end as far as like, hey, how do you guys want to move forward together?
Well,
we want to. I mean, and there's been verbal
contacted
like,
him tonight,
hey, we're
and
gonna
I'll talk about
you know,
it later.
Okay.
But it was pretty much like whatever we adopt, they'll deal with.
Yeah, and that was Mary's kind
'Cause I
of
was
thing,
like,
but she said I'll defer to
make
Jeff.
sure we're cool. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything
And that
that's
anyway,
outside of
that's
the
why
spirit
this
of the
isn't supposed to be a
agreements.
structure that's put in place for more than 4 months to rent out to some people that won't stop bugging me. No, just kidding.
But I digress. Anyways, I just wanted to tell you all about that meeting on the 26th of April. I think
Okay.
it'll be interesting. And it was really gratifying to participate in it, to see how I could see why the county, somebody like the parks director would think that we do amazing things, because we do move much leaner. And we have much more connection with our community than an organization that large does. And there are
We don't have as
lessons-
many people to like. What I really noticed with them is you have a lot of different people to include.
Not
in a
everybody gets the
decision.
memo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a decision-making process isn't just one person.
It's been
so-
interesting. It's been very lightweight
Yeah.
and very interesting, and
Cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that all turns out. But anyhow, that's all I have.
All right.
Moving on.
Well, it kind of jives with my experience of going down to the county buildings for those meetings and thinking, my God, these people are like in some kind of concrete pillow or something. Like it's like in a bunker. You know, it's
Yes.
like, you know, they're
Having been out of it for a couple of years, I can attest to that.
yeah, I mean, it's really like
I see
you
the
go
grain.
in there and
Yeah.
you're up on the 5th floor and you're kind of looking down at, I mean, your clients are, you know, very far away. You know?
Yeah.
Even though it's right next to one of the biggest parks, they're very far away. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not
So-
very interactive.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's different.
So it's been interesting. And I could see why what we do here is exciting to them, because we have none of that. And we just sort of
Sometimes
Make it
Hide in the
happen.
closet
Hallie has to
occasionally.
make it happen,
Like you said.
right? We just make it happen. Okay, so that's all I have. Does anyone else have any comments on the board, from the board? Moving on to staff report.
Okay. What did we put in here?
Right?
Yay. Oh. Let's see, task force is myself for now.
Yay!
3 people have taken a application but didn't do anything, which is fine. But I know we're gonna need some help at some point, but it's been a little easier to work alone for time being.
I think there's a big plus for that at this stage of the
Yeah,
development of
I
a
do
plan.
too. I mean, I think it's nice to have something to work off of
Yeah,
to give people,
exactly.
because
Yeah.
a few other projects that we've worked on the last year or two, I think we made the mistake of maybe involving too many people too early,
Mhm.
and then they feel entitled to the outcome, maybe in a way that doesn't work for the staff.
All right.
So, having said that, I think, a few drafts of things to work off of would be helpful, and we're getting close to having that ready, and then people can edit and fact checked and make it, a little bit.
I've had people contact me and
Fancier.
I've told them that pretty much what we've discussed at previous board meetings, that the purpose of the task force is not to, is to volunteer, not to contribute opinion.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, we'll
And it takes time for staff
Yeah.
to sort of figure out what those volunteer opportunities are.
yes, that is very true.
Opinion without action is sort of obstructive to getting things rolling on a tight timeline.
Unless it's a good idea and you suggest it and you're gonna do it.
Right?
Yeah. I think our main thing out there is going to be people's expectation, like we talked about, is that we're going to be able to be open every day. And I think in talking with people, that has been the thing. I guess why would somebody know? But until we really have something have nice brochures coming that have like all the information about that aspect. But the thing I think I need to really spend some time on is sort of the holistic, like the whole district as a whole, what our monies are, similar to what LAFCO did for us. Like, here's the pie of money, here's what you guys get, here's what this looks like. And then, broke it down by like, this is really what, if we want to see improvements to our recreational activities up here, it's not just about Bear Creek and the pool, it's about the whole district as a whole. And I think that's the thing people have,
That'd be really helpful.
have not really grasped that,
Mhm.
like, it's not just about, when are you going to open up there, but yeah, I'm not paying my bill here. Like it's,
Right.
and like those things don't go hand in hand. I'm like, we need the whole thing to work well, and for people to, every aspect of the district to be improving and growing, and
It's branding again, isn't it, really?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of, and but it's good because I think a lot of that stuff policy-wise we haven't had to be sticklers on really, because we
Right.
haven't been running these programs very long, for one. So it's been a learning curve from that standpoint, but it's been a good stepping stone for out there, because I'm like, I'm not interested in opening and doing any programs up there until that stuff's written and has been trained on staff.
Right.
I've gotten good feedback about that because I've definitely ramped down the amount of communication that I've done
Mhm.
regarding the district stuff, just because I feel like I can't speak as an individual quite as much.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though people don't know the difference, and they do expect that I'm going to blab about some of that stuff, but I feel like I have to be more conservative in what I put out there. And what I've put out there is that it's closed until
Yeah.
we figure out what's going on, and we are working on it, but it's huge, and there's money, there's
Yeah.
partnership, there are regulations, there are things that we need to think through. And the feedback that I've gotten so far is that people are glad that we're doing it slowly as opposed to
Yeah,
open door and screwing up.
right.
Like, something is better than nothing, so long as there's incremental progress
Yes.
being made.
Right.
Exactly.
I've gotten a lot of sympathy for it's a big job.
Yeah.
Money is tight. We're in a partnership. Please be patient. Everybody
Yeah.
has gone, well, I totally understand.
Yeah.
You know.
I just don't think, like you said, something I had a meeting, I was going to talk about this, with the land trust, and they have a whole board that is painted as a whiteboard. You sit down at your little conference seat and talk, and they're drawing on the wall, but it's a whiteboard, kind of thing. And what was really neat is she was able to sort of explain from a mathematical standpoint, here's what you guys are trying to raise. She made a little graph that said you would expect to get, X amount from $100 donors. You might be looking for $100, $500 donors. You're really going to want to look for $200,000 donors. Just kind of really broke it down, like, this is how many people you need to ask for this in order to get to this point by this date. Here's what we do. Here's like a list of, how to really go about targeting and marketing to people the need. So it was, anyways, a really nice, like, 2.5-hour meeting that they sat with us, and I felt like I really appreciated their time. And she's like, anytime they sent me all their templates for all their outreach, and she's like, well, we obviously have a reason we want you to be successful in this. So but everything you produce, make sure that's on there, and then just keep it going. Keep finding interesting things to put out there. Put up pictures every week. Put up, obviously they have big lands where they can put up stuff, but any little bit of information like that out to the community, it makes people feel like they're still being
What you did
spoken
with
to, or
the redwood tree and then
That
the
was
flower.
cute.
Yeah, that was really cool.
yeah.
To, like,
So it's
keep it
silly
in-
stuff, but just to
It
Things
hasn't
like that,
been
and I
too
thought-
much. It's definitely been very
okay.
incremental, and yes,
That's good.
I
All right.
like the spring pictures.
Okay.
That was something I could share. I mean,
Right.
really, I see
Yeah,
what
it's
they're
like, I don't
saying.
wanna
It's like,
always be
oh,
like,
there's
"Give me
something
your money."
new that
Right.
you can share
Yeah.
that sort of highlights. Oh, remember this.
Yeah, but I think the little bit of struggle will be that, like, we need to get that loan,
Okay.
money's figured out. If not in full, at least in part, and then plan to get a loan ourselves. Which is something we talked about. Which potentially, unless we do find a large donor, is probably what we're looking at doing. Because in a year, from now, we're going to be looking at needing that chunk. So the things that we will purchase, obviously, are the lift for the pool and ramps and things to accommodate our ADA compliance bits. I really don't foresee us making huge projects out there quite yet. I think most of what we've been able to deal with, we can patch some of this stuff. Like, I would love to redo the roof, but I know it's going to bring up a lot more stuff within that building that I don't think we're ready financially to deal with. And I know it's something we put out to the community, want to work on, but I think prioritizing what are the things we can make it usable, safe, usable, and open to a small extent is going to bring in money. Which is kind of what we did here. It's like you slowly build, you just have your doors open more. So having said that, I have kind of approached staff here saying I really see myself within the end of this school year in summer, like, moving out to the facility and working there. I don't know how else to start to plant myself out there, because I know if I come here to work, I don't always end up out there. I'm trying to get out there at least every other day. Which is a little hard for me, to leave this space, but I also feel like it, I would like to have it open and have people be able to come through. The parts we've looked at doing, is dealing with the park space, obviously separate from the rental of the building or any of that. So we're really trying to figure out a way to safely open up the back parklands, or take out some of the fencing, creating that. It's just bits of awkward access about the property right now. And I don't know how much of that, we want to sit at a table with the community and say, what do you guys think? Or how much of it we want to say, this just needs to go because it accommodates our needs, and then
I tend to lean towards a smaller group of people who we can contact that are professionals that will donate their time to clear things.
okay.
I mean, I don't think that we need input necessarily on how to remove hazards, like
Mhm.
how to remove poison oak or
Oh, no,
how to
yeah. I was
remove
thinking more of the
trees
like, I mean, those back courts, as you guys know, I'm kind of itching to remove.
Mhm.
I could see just getting rid of the front near the redwood tree and leaving the back one, with possibility of
start?
pickleball or different, right, to start, and kind of seeing, you know, if we
Is the
utilize
damage
that
still there?
space, the
Like
damage is still there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing, because that's
Right.
been put out there.
Yes.
So I think that the whole argument about taking out that court or
Mhm.
doing whatever it is you're going to do is going to be made in that it's preservation of that tree, which we
Yes.
pledged to
Yeah.
maintain. And I feel that our community is so conservation minded that there would be no kickback for that
Mhm, mhm.
portion of it at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Like, you see it's unusable as a tennis court.
It is unusable, so I don't have any qualms
And
about
it-
taking that out.
There's the nice tennis courts that are
At the
always
front.
being used.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 sections?
Yeah, there's two
Yeah,
tennis courts.
there's 2 tennis courts that aren't side by side their length along the river.
Okay.
You know, certainly my vision in walking that place and thinking, okay, how can we open this as a parkland
How
and
can
have
we use that as
access
a
to
wedding
picnic
space?
and, yeah, picnic and, you know, certain access points around the perimeter of the pool, like the picnic is behind that
Yeah,
building.
yeah.
And then there's walkable areas and there's basketball court, and I would love to have that basketball court open to people. Like, that doesn't need to be something that's a rented thing, you know, so
Mhm.
that and then, you know, that back area would be perfect, like park space, like just open park space, and then you've got access, easy access to your trails or trail. You know, and there's plenty I think we can do to at least assist in sound and sight visibility to the back neighbor. There's already large fencing in place that could either have something added to it or grown on it, or so I feel like that's something that was a worry of mine, but I really feel like it's nothing we're going to be thinking about creating back there.
That's all open
Is-
space as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Eventually, right?
Right.
I mean,
People have been
It's
asking about
beautiful.
dogs, you know, so
no.
these were things that have obviously come up already, and I said, you know, that particular location is literally 40 feet from somebody's back living room. And
I've been very clear with people
I can't see
on
that
social
being
media that a dog park is incompatible use for that property
Mhm.
because of the proximity of the neighbors and because of the events that will
Yeah.
be run, because we have to pay for the facility.
Yep.
And what I haven't really mentioned is our environmental concerns, because
Mhm.
if we have a dog park running along a riparian corridor,
Mhm.
that's fecal matter into a riparian area. So
And,
it's just,
you know, essentially,
I haven't
like
gotten a lot of
Highlands
kickback about
has,
it. People have been okay.
mhm. Yeah, I think
with-
people do understand that.
Me saying, "Look, come on, this
People
is
are
the
already in there
frickin-"
with their dogs,
right."
and we're gonna face that situation of
But
people
we
are
will-
going to use those trails
If the board
with a
decides we
dog.
will not establish a dog park on
Right,
that
but dog
property,
park is different than allowing people to walk leash dogs.
That is very.
that's a different thing we'll talk about
Yeah.
later.
But
Yeah.
that's something that's right now within our ordinances and such, like our parks and facilities do not allow dogs.
Mhm.
So that, in my mind, that's true for Bear Creek.
Absolutely.
So everything that's, looking through the policy and procedure manual, it's like, okay, there's quite a few areas now that we're gonna need to edit
Mhm.
to accommodate, it says things that aren't gonna be true anymore, so, anyway, that was something I started looking at, it's like, well, what are our rules, What is
Mhm.
that rule again,
Mhm.
So, that kind of stuff, I think, protects us in a way that I know a few of those neighbors were concerned about things that I'm like, these are already ordinances and things that we adhere to as a district, so we're, not gonna be doing some of the things they were concerned about. Having said that, I think, putting together something that's a little more specific to Bear Creek makes them feel like there's a process and that we're thinking about all the ins and outs of up there. So we started working on, speaking of the pool area and such, we started working on getting the pool prepped for the season. The PG&E line that's on the back part of our property, I didn't realize was damaged in the storms. So PG&E is going to need to repair it. It's not our line, it's theirs, so
Theirs,
that's access
right.
that they're gonna need to repair. It feeds our motors for the pump of the pool. So
Where's
that
the other one's feed come from the front?
does come from the side, like along, I guess it's actually the front, but then it comes through the side of the property. So whatever line comes in from across Bear Creek is the one that the electrician found was dead, and that's the one that powers the pump to the pool. Parts of the pumps were all working, but the one that fires the actual pumping of the water from the pool was not kicking on. So cleaning the pool, like everything's still going fine. They can still do the maintenance and everything, but that's the bit that we're waiting on to get all the pumps actually working. Hot tub works. They got that all going.
Sweet.
So if you're,
And how does it work, Alex?
I don't know. I haven't gone in yet.
Is that why you're moving your office? up there?
Right? I'm like, actually, no. Oh my gosh.
Put your,
It takes 2 hours to warm up, so.
Oh my.
Does it really?
Yeah.
So is there something wrong with the motor as well?
He said it probably works. So
Oh,
I
it's just
think
we
the
just don't
motor's
know until we
okay.
get- right.
And they're not, they're like $200, they're not a
Right.
huge expense, so.
Are there 2 electrical meters?
I don't think there can be, because we switched over our bills and there's
Right,
one.
Right, so
So
I'm just
I'm-
interested.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just basing it off of what the
Yeah.
pool guy had an electrician
Yeah.
come in and check it out because he couldn't figure out why it wasn't coming on. And then he said, you need to call PG&E and get the line repaired.
Okay.
So I'll know more once they come out and do a site visit, but
Yeah.
that's.
Were we able to
the-
send any stuff to county staff about storm damage?
Yeah,
Were they tepid about it, or?
they sent me all the FEMA information,
It was a lot.
and I did prepare some stuff, but the contact at FEMA, they said you have to do all the expense first.
Oh, right.
It's a
Gotcha.
reimbursement process.
Gotcha.
And a lot of the damaged items, the things that I was thinking I might go for, I don't
Mhm.
think we're gonna be repairing
Gotcha.
right away. And the
Alright.
things that I would maybe go for, we're gonna be tearing out.
Gotcha.
So it's not a repair.
Okay.
So yeah, I did,
Okay.
was wishful on that
Right.
bit. But,
I see.
yeah, they sent it back and said, you need to do this on your own.
All right.
There
you go.
Great, there's our partnership.
Thank you. Right.
And then once you've done it, then you don't need our help, so there you go.
Perfect.
All right then. Good to know.
And then, so we're gonna be due, once the pumps and everything's working, we're gonna be due for a environmental inspection to get our permits for opening the pool. This will be the first time, obviously, we're trying to open it as a public entity. So something else I've been kind of, not telling a lot of people, but
Definitely
some
need
of
to
our
be
staff and people that
coordinated.
keep talking about, oh, we're gonna be open, and all this stuff to people. I'm like, I would rather keep that kind of, not getting everyone super excited about it yet until I know
Right.
that may not happen
Right.
if we can't get around some stuff yet. So,
Right.
I mean, I've
I
told
don't-
people we have ADA things that we need to meet. We can't meet that if we don't have money. And even if we do come up with that money, we're only looking at 2 days a week
Mhm.
this summer to
Mhm.
start. And that has no revenue coming into us.
right.
I mean, I've told everybody.
Yeah.
Rec swim is a type
Right.
of deal. Like, we do that because it's our responsibility as a parks district to
Mhm.
try and offer recreational opportunities.
Mhm.
The money that we're gonna make is gonna be on programming
Yeah.
in the pool. And people seem to be responsive to that. I mean,
And
I've
I'm
heard
not
a couple
opposed-
people
I
say,
mean,
"Oh,
if
those
we
aren't the
can
days
get-
I have my grandkids." I'm like, sorry.
I know.
Like, sorry about that.
And I'm not opposed to working towards, this, swim stuff. I mean, the other people that have reached out to us, I was surprised, was the YMCA. About seeing if we wanted any lifeguard training or if we wanted to work together with any of the pool stuff. And I thought it's interesting because I was a little, not scared they'd be upset, but just kind of thought, oh,
Be competition.
we're another, yeah, I don't really want to be competing with them, and not
they're
that they have
so
such a
well-funded,
different,
though.
yeah. I'm
I
like,
mean,
I don't think they're
they're
gonna,
Expensive to go
they helped
to
us get
one.
our after-school program going, was a thought I had. They employed their employees at our facility for free for us to help us get it going in the beginning. And
They're all about being benefactors, though,
Yes.
you know, because
Yeah.
they are so well endowed.
And the other thing they've reached out about, in the
Now
past
we're
was,
talking. Now you got my ears
was
perked.
setting
How
up.
well endowed there, Fitzgerald?
The other thing that they have asked in the past about was setting up a workout space. Something
huge.
else that I have thought about was going into partnership with the Y to put in a metal structure on on that property and creating
Parkour.
a gym.
Instead of tearing out the concrete pad on the defective tennis court, maybe putting one of those metal buildings on it.
Hmm.
You know, people really want that here.
They do.
They really do. I hear
So
the pool
it was a
and
thought.
workouts, and I'm like,
Workout
all we
gym.
have is stuff
A
from the
workout
80s.
gym. Not
Yeah.
like
Interesting.
total fitness, but like something more like the tennis club idea where you have something of access for people.
Free
You
weights,
pay.
yeah.
But yeah, it's very simple because the gym that's up there is not really a suitable thing for anyone more than 3 people to use at a time or something. It's not
Exactly, right, yeah.
going to service the community, but
That would be a great idea.
something like that is really like all these rec magazines are talking about like alternative buildings and all this stuff, and I thought, what's something we could do up here? And that's the one thing I think we could find different type of funders or people wanting to pitch in
Heck
money
yeah.
towards, because
They'd
it's
be in and out.
they're not necessarily the ones with the kid or the
They
and
just
it's not
don't
just
want to have
men,
to
but
drive
it's
out of town
yeah,
to go on a
yeah.
treadmill or
Just
their
gonna have a
elliptical
wall
or
of
have
mirrors,
their.
so you'd be like,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put the surveillance out there.
Yeah.
Like, what just happened?
Gotta have a mirror wall.
There's a guy taking a poo at Junction Park. Oh, and there's people working out at Bear Creek. Sweet.
Oh, I think that's a great idea.
But that
especially
has
if they're
been the other
into
thought that I'm like, I
consulting
don't
on
know
that or-
how. Anyway, I got I don't know the building issues with that, but
With a
certain-
steel building?
yes.
Some of them are
I mean, I've
considered-
asked the vendor in town about it.
Right, and those
Um,
are temporary structures
yes.
which don't require permits if they're
Right.
not plumbed.
That was the answer I got as well. Was
Right.
the plumbing is really the kicker. Like lights, you're okay.
Lights are okay, it's the plumbing.
Okay,
Right,
which we have plenty of in the
Yes.
building that exists.
right.
right.
And if we didn't have that janky space that's used for that now,
Yeah.
it could be expanded into other use.
Hmm. And I thought that room could be a pool party room, or it could be,
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
else that brings in some chunk of money. So those have been my, I don't know, kind of my trajectory for what projects or use I saw being something I think people would be really excited about.
Mhm.
And it obviously is a project in and of itself, but pretty doable for not very much money. And we seem to be getting the interest in it, and just that has been something people have been like, if you need help setting up workout stuff, let me know. Or-
Yep.
So I think
Do
we
they
get a
want,
lot of
like,
helpers for that.
equipment or a space?
Both.
Like
Right.
this with equipment, like the gym with equipment?
Yeah. I mean, some equipment, probably free weights,
Mhm.
ropes, whatever, like a CrossFit type of thing.
Like
Fitness
CrossFit,
has
like pretty
changed.
open, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't go to gym.
They have like, sledgehammers on frickin'
Right.
big tires and, things that are stations that aren't necessarily what fitness used to be in the 90s, you know what I mean, where you're all just sitting there in your 24-hour Nautilus. You have a little tiny segment of that, like rowing machines and whatnot, but then you have other things like,
Tractor tires.
yeah, and things you hang from
Right,
and
I was
like
gonna say the
curl
rope.
up and right.
Ropes and yeah.
Hmm. It's really, I mean, a good place to look at is the Ryan Stayskull's facility down there, at SLV Fitness, because it's the same thing. It's basically a metal shed
Right.
that has pretty minimal equipment, but it's all very functional for people who are into fitness.
To show you how to do it.
The one question that I don't know about those metal buildings is whether you can insulate them.
You can,
So
You
cool.
can.
yes,
Okay.
foam. And
Well,
then
I mean, I know you can,
you hit
but
it
whether
with
one
foam
can
and then
do
you put a
it
sealant.
without.
There's another place, which
But are
I'm
they
not
still
gonna
temporary?
mention, that might have something like that is
Right.
lit and insulated with no plumbing facilities.
Okay.
Maybe a
Mhm.
little, but
Maybe a little plumbing.
no flushing ones.
Right, exactly.
No shower heads.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was about 50 grand
Mhm.
for everything, including a foundation, which is already existing there,
Right.
technically.
Yeah. It'd be suitable enough.
If you insulate it for noise too, then it.
Right. Well, and I was thinking that's
There's really
less
not
noise
lot
than a
of
tennis
noise.
court.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Really,
of noise.
you know.
People
Yeah.
going, oh my god!
Right.
You're looking so
Wheezing doesn't go through the foam. I think that would be a fabulous idea.
Yeah, I think it would be good. So because I do want to get people up there, and I don't want to.
And you're not going to get a ton of people at once either.
No.
That's one of those things where it has a light footprint on the parking
Yeah.
lot.
Yes, I think so too.
Oh, but then people would have to stop complaining about, oh, I can't join a gym. It's
I know, right?
40 minutes away.
But the
I
thing is
can't
if we
do
have
it."
all the basic equipment, and the equipment is very basic, like I said, it doesn't look like a Nautilus
You get-
gym anymore, then we have people who are fitness people who
Mhm.
want to offer programs through the rec, either as employees or as a cut. So we make revenue off of that as well, offering, programs where people go and have their little CrossFit
Spin
stuff.
gym.
It's the same thing as the idea of rehabilitating, when we get to the point, rehabilitating the kitchen so that we can offer it not only to our catering for the weddings, but as a commercial kitchen space that people can rent
Mhm.
when we're not using it as a facility space. It's just sort of,
Mhm.
Teach, beer making classes and stuff.
Right.
like that.
absolutely, jam, beer, bread,
Cheese.
cheese.
Feed people.
But I mean, the thing about working with other groups within the area that I think would, is obviously the financial end of it. So we'll see where that leads. Not that we couldn't do it on our own, but
Well, see, like the first question would be, can you put a structure there that close to the river? And that might
Well, if
be
it's a
the
temporary
conversation.
structure and not a permanent building,
Well, I'm
that-
just, right,
right.
whatever, however. we-
It just depends on how you ask the question. We have so many intangibles because we have the umbrella of the authority of this parks director
Mhm.
who
and it depends on
can-
if we ask.
Yes,
It does. It
I mean, that's
absolutely does.
Something is a nicety about being a small agency sometimes.
Oh.
That we're also like, and that was something Tess politely kind of put in some questioning too about volunteering, and just the way that we do things is not always the way that Santa Cruz County Parks does stuff
Are we
either.
going to be held
or
to the standard that
Yes.
you're held to? Because
And-
we can't do business that way.
And we made it
Right.
pretty clear that we couldn't.
You were there.
Yeah.
You
I
were
was there. I was there.
We need child labor.
Right,
We can't run
exactly.
our district without it.
We need to be exploiting people.
Right.
Indentured servitude. Good thing.
That's our job.
Yeah, and we
Um,
got all. There's a mutual benefit to that type of relationship, is all I can really say on the record.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah.
I think we're not going to get a lot of push on certain things.
So I need to get these cameras. I will work on the cameras, Brian. I'm sorry.
No. That's cool.
No,
I
it's
was
just
wondering.
Yeah, it kind of fell off of my bothering that folks to come. But the porta potties will be back in May.
It's
Are
probably
you going to
good
be there?
for the installation of the porta potties?
With a bottle of champagne.
Right now, the rocks won't have fecal matter on it down by the river.
No, really?
It's my bane of this town that doesn't have a public bathroom.
Yeah,
It's been
I know.
my axe that I've been grinding for years, is like, this town cannot get it together to have a public bathroom.
Well,
So
they
then you
have the
to-
porta potty at the gas station.
Well, then you have to rely on, either special districts, or you have to rely on business owners to do that, which is, then you're pushing.
You need to go to that
passive
meeting on the
about-
26th and be like, we need potties.
That's a good
Boulder
damn
Creek."
idea.
Yeah.
That's just for the county parks, though.
Well, who else would do it?
Well, they have a park, Miller property. They've got a Bear Creek facility. They've got
We
Highlands.
should bug the state parks, that's who we should bug, no.
Right. I don't know.
They're bringing people through the town and then,
Anyways, that's good. Bring the porta potties back.
okay,
Yeah.
bring it back.
The city of Mendocino has a park across the street from the main street, and they have a porta potty. It's like the one up at, up on Highway 9 up
Yeah.
here. It's a pit,
Right,
you know, so, but it is there, and you can use it.
We used to
You
have
know.
that at
Yeah,
Junction,
And
but
it
we
is
is
tore
what
it
was
out.
there, right?
It is in
Yeah.
a
We tore it
park.
out because it was the same kind of deal, vandalism stuff.
yeah, I mean, I don't know that other, I'm assuming all town, I mean, I know Santa Cruz Parks took out a lot of their porta potties, like, all together. Like, that was one of their solutions to the needle epidemic,
Mhm.
you know, was just like, we're not gonna provide space for this, and that's who was using the porta potties. But obviously it creates a, like you said, it's
Need.
an
Another-
issue, there's a
It's
need
just-
there.
It's just a bummer
Um,
because there's, you know, obviously other people would find need
Yeah.
for it.
Yes,
You know?
yeah.
And
That's
so there's,
unfortunate.
you've got like a.
Yeah, and we have no
segment
services
of
for
society.
people that need,
Like
yeah.
contractors. When are you guys gonna put the
Yeah,
toilets back?
I'm not too worried about them, but
It's on
no.
my route.
You know, like a lot of the day laborers would be,
Yeah.
they would come down here in the morning, you know,
Mhm,
and-
right.
which is like, you know, they don't have to go buy a cup of coffee at the coffee shop to use the
Right.
bathroom. and
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it affects a lot of different people for sure, and
I think,
Um,
I'm not saying that we should rescind our idea of taking them out to save money during the wintertime. I think it's fantastic. It gives a break, you
Mhm.
know, and so then makes people think maybe a little bit more, or maybe
Mhm.
not. But I mean, it makes you just realize that, okay, the porta potty's not gonna be there all the time for my personal use.
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
spend so much money cleaning them during
Yeah.
when we have them. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. I don't understand. They get cleaned in the morning, and then I'll go check 2 hours
You know,
later.
we've tried a
and
bunch
it's
of different
just-
people.
Have we tried D&G?
Yeah, that was our original one.
It is amazing, isn't it?
We need to have some signage, like, this is for everybody's use, please
I
be
know.
as
Yeah, I
courteous
was thinking
and
about signage,
considerate
yeah.
as possible, because people just go in there and just blow it up, and it's like, come on, like, what's the next person, or what are you gonna do in 4 hours when you need to go back in there?
Right, yeah.
So,
Yeah, my
I don't know,
assumption's
that's-
always been that it's people that probably wouldn't read a sign.
Totally.
That, you know,
I
but
think you're probably right.
at the same time.
I think it's a good insight there.
But no,
The
but it's
sign might
still
be too
something
blurry,
like,
but, you know, when it's not blurry, maybe they'll get.
Yeah.
Or
How about
maybe.
you have to do a trick lock to
Or
get
you
in?
start reporting it on Boulder Creek neighbors.
I know.
You gotta
No, but it's,
take the helm.
anyway, it's sad.
Okay.
Because it's certainly, it's certainly been an embarrassment about things, like, because I can't, you know, every event that we start, or it's like, even going down there to try and lock them on the Friday so that it's not used. And
Yeah, yeah, or we
then
have them
sometime-
cleaned on Friday.
Yeah.
And then we have an event on Saturday, and then
Right.
it's like, okay, strap on the gloves,
Right.
now we gotta clean
Yeah.
this up.
And it's
Great.
already,
Yeah, it's,
it's
I mean,
already
within like
ready.
4 hours usually, it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they could come back and clean it again, I would
Yeah.
say. So, anyway,
and
we've
so
had
that's
that.
not something that you're willing to
conversation a
ask
million
our
times, but-
maintenance to just check as a part of their duties. If you don't
I
feel
will put it back
comfortable.
on the table, because there's also the hose right there, and I just think like even hosing the thing out,
I mean, that's what they do.
yeah,
They pull the truck up and they have a
Right.
hose that, they have a water tank on their truck and they just hose it out.
yeah,
Use a pole,
Right.
you know, scrubber thing, and
yeah,
that's pretty much it. So, I mean, I just think that, like, because of the fact that it is such a highly used
mhm,
item, and when you got families that were encouraging to come down
Right.
there in the summertime to help minimize the other, you know, faction
Mm-hmm.
of society, that they're not gonna be as inclined to go down there if they
Right.
realize that every
Mhm.
time their son or daughter has to go to the bathroom, they have to rally up the street. It's
right,
not always convenient.
totally, I know.
But I mean, it is one of those things where it's like, it sucks because it's something that nobody wants to do, but
Yeah.
it's like one of those first impression type of things.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
I know.
Like, oh,
Yep.
there's a bathroom here? Good, okay, cool.
Right.
Oh, and the bathroom's clean? Bonus.
Yes. No, it is a big
now
deal.
on my
I'd hear
radar,
you.
so, but I don't know, I just thought that maybe if it was put back on the table with our
Yeah.
in-house maintenance, if there was a way or a protocol or something that we could do to, not just to replace the actual cleaning by the companies, but just
Mhm.
to enhance
Right.
that.
Yeah.
A clean
No, a hose
sweep.
down.
So,
Yeah.
anyways.
I'll add it to my to-do list.
Such a bummer.
I know.
It is a bummer.
La, la, la. So, let's see, where are we?
We had chicken in our
Events
hen
coming up,
house.
huh?
Nothing.
Okay.
I had to
Events.
make sure the chickens are in 2 nights ago.
Chickens
I'm
are-
like, I'm gonna put the chickens away, and there's like
Events.
a skunk in there. Like,
Oh,
whoa.
that's the worst.
Watch out for skunks. Sorry.
Oh. We are gonna do some of the flea markets this year. I was going to take them off the table. But
Why?
one of the I just was thinking with all of our other events and other things we're doing, it was something like I was losing energy for doing and somehow was kind of getting pulled into being the person to have to be there, and
That's
I didn't want to do it.
So you're gonna do it anyway?
So I found someone that's going to take them on
Okay.
as a
The
volunteer
other thing
and
too
taking
is
on that role.
it's
And
the same people
Yes,
slinging the same
and that was something I
stuff,
talked about with
and
them,
we didn't
was
have
like-
a whole lot of turnover of like
Yeah.
people bringing.
It's a
Right.
perpetual garage sale.
It
Yeah.
becomes like a market rather than
yes, yeah,
a flea market.
Right.
But whatever.
no, totally.
That's
And
good.
I mean, you want your regulars so that you have somebody there,
Mhm.
but you really want to boost
Eh.
that those other spots,
Yeah.
as far as interest. So, we'll see. I let them know, like, if there's any phone calls for issues with neighbors or stuff like that, it's just gonna need to be pulled, because that's just, for what it's worth, is too much for us, and I feel like it's kind of a service to those people that it's their business to do this,
There's other places like the Alano Club. Didn't they start having things? There's other places they could have.
Yeah, I know.
Might be
All right.
It was just
But-
a nice when it was
Entree.
started. It was
Yeah.
really a nice.
I know,
feature.
yeah.
Because the Jazzercise crew comes down after
I know,
Jazzercise
yep.
on Saturdays.
I bought a lot of stuff
So,
there, so
yeah.
anyway, I have enjoyed it, but yeah, it
Sold
was
some
starting
stuff
to get a
there.
little trickling, and I felt like my energy for it was trickling with that, so it kind of felt like, gosh, would like this to kind of be able to do its thing without having to put a lot of effort into it, because it's,
Country.
Music and art.
Music and Art Festival coming up in May. We'll be down there with that one. KBC Movie Nights as well. We'll be down there this summer. They are also going to do a music festival down there
Cool.
in July. And then July 4th Barbecue, Pan for Gold, and Harvest Festival will be down there this year.
Is it exclusively going to be down?
No, I don't think so.
No, but
Yeah, I think we're going to stick with the
2-part.
two-part thing. Yeah, I mean, if you have feedback about that, let me know. But
A lot of people griped about it.
Mhm.
Like they didn't really get the whole connection of the thing, so, and people are that way.
Yes,
So,
I
they don't
know.
necessarily.
They obviously never have been to Burning Man then,
I know,
where
right?
there's tons of walking and stuff all over.
I mean, here,
Or
hello,
Coachella.
they haven't been to Burning Man. What the heck?
Yeah.
And it's like a block or two.
Yeah, that's right,
Like
it's a block.
Not
Right.
a long, long way.
Well, maybe if there's like
but-
silly signage or something,
Yes,
like big
yeah, we did
arrows
talk
or,
about the signage bit
whatever.
and just, yeah.
I thought it was better.
I
having
think
it spread
ultimately,
out.
like, you got to do those things for people to get it, and then
Right. Mhm.
I think the long-term goal was like, okay, this could be something that's happening all around town, but here's something we own that we don't have to ask permission for, so let's try it there. And so,
Exactly.
I'm like, I don't really
Mhm.
want to have to get a lot of
permission.
permissions from other people anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah, Red
Um,
Bull's
Going up.
Yeah.
I don't want no
It's just too much work. No. Garahan Park weeding project is ongoing. But,
Project is.
Yes, but I thought it was looking really nice, and things are blooming and looking great out there. We tested all the sprinkler systems. They didn't disintegrate over the
Explode.
storms.
Yay!
We're starting to chip areas. We've been having trouble getting chips, so if you know anyone with
Yeah.
some chips, let them know they can drop it off there. Parking lot was pretty wrecked, so we've been trying to pull together more gravel, and then the decomposed granite out there is also a scene, so we
Washed
just,
away.
yeah, just started on Tuesday, started to do it, and then it was raining, so maybe a project for next week. And then the skate ramp is being repainted and checked for stability.
Right.
Visitor Center studio space over next door is going well. We got a new website up for KBCZ that looks really good. All the DJs are on there. And
I'm pulling it up on my phone.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
yeah, the player plays, and it's anyway, it's fun, interactive, looks good.
Very cool.
I got a great compliment from Justin
Oh yeah, good.
that he wanted me to share with the board, that he's really stoked about Leslie and Tina's active involvement in the visitor center.
Mhm.
And that's been a really positive thing for the Downtown Business Association.
Mhm, Great.
And just wanted to sort of have me give them a shout out on their behalf.
Mhm.
And I forwarded it over to them so they would know. But yeah, they were
that's always
super
great.
happy about that
Yeah.
presence.
Yeah, I mean, they were open for First Friday. I walked in there and checked it out. It was just really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, we're trying to just kind of have that, instead of pulling other people in, make it the, visitor
Radio.
center, just have open houses and
Mhm.
welcome people in and.
There's a beautiful new desk.
Yes.
That was a collaborative effort. Leslie and Matt put together along with James from the Daysky. So if you haven't seen it, it's really cool. It's like so modern and hip. It's
I know, right?
angle
Trying
iron
to-
in like rough wood.
Ah.
Metalwork and,
Metalwork
yep.
and
Wow.
reclaimed
I know, it's very cute.
wood,
Yeah.
I'd say.
My beard is
Reclaimed.
growing already.
I know.
There's my mason jar. Oh, here it is.
But it's really cool.
It is cool, and they have done a really
great.
great job, and I know it's not, Leslie's essentially morphed into kind of outreach coordinator for the district, and I very much have appreciated having somebody interested in that aspect of things, because I'm outreached out right now. So yeah, working with the business association and all that, I like,
Right.
it's a great tie to have someone that's got the enthusiasm for it and is excited
Right.
about that,
Yeah.
and I.
And who are you talking about?
Leslie.
Leslie.
Yeah,
I-
Buchanan.
and
Who's
she's-
been
and
here,
she's a
who's been
great-
working here a long time now. So
And she's a great DJ too.
yes.
She has a very
Yeah.
nice radio presence. I've
She
listened to her
does,
show
yeah.
several times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been great. She's a volunteer promoter, for KBCZ, and then essentially doing, a number of things kind of administratively for us. So
Mhm.
There's no
it's been
picture of
good.
Big Bri. Is that because you're a board member?
No, he
No.
just hasn't sent it.
Tina pulled one.
I know, I didn't send
up
one for me yet
somewhere.
either.
Chris is not showing up for anybody else.
No.
We're working on our update of our website, pulling in pictures from Bear Creek, and SLV Steve's been giving us a bunch of stuff that's really
Oh,
nice. Yeah, it's great because we got some nice ones of Brian's and one of them Fernando from the KBCZ, and just stuff that's a little bit more, I don't know,
Not
homey.
Shutterstock?
Yeah, and I was a little sheepish at first because I thought I don't want people getting upset that whatever their faces, are using their pictures or their kids online, but most people are excited to have their stuff on. So, upcoming events, egg hunts this weekend. I know 4-H will be
Find
there.
them. Yeah, so where are we gonna be?
On the field.
Where we were last week?
Yeah, is that okay, or do you
That's
want to be
what
in
I was
the? Okay.
expecting. Nope, thank you, got it.
Great.
Check.
And George will also be there with.
We'll be there.
Friends playing
We'll be there at
music.
10:30 with the 5 trailer trucks with all our sound equipment.
Perfect.
And the and the sky the
Oh, it's-
sky show.
Sky
What
Show.
time does the actual hunt start?
11:15 is the first age hunt,
Mhm.
and then noon is the field hunt.
Is the, whoops, you just couldn't get here in time.
Mhm.
So people normally show up like 10:45, right?
Yeah,
8:30.
like, or the running in 11:10, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
usually.
And I think parking, all that stuff's hard. People don't realize it's going to be a thing until they get there, and yeah.
No way. Just like last
And then if you're interested, most of you know, sorry, we're doing the KBCZ dance the following Saturday up at Bear Creek facility. I'm trying to kind of have.
We're gonna break that facility in.
I know, we are.
I know.
Neighbors are gonna be like, okay.
We invited you.
And I thought I had committed to that already. You said a volunteer needed.
Yeah, I was hoping to house, where the money stations are,
Right.
I'd like to make it kind of a policy that we always have
Right.
a board member from
Fiduciary.
the foundation or from here that's at each of those locations. I mean, it's not always a necessity, but I'd like to move in that direction of having.
It's the it's the appearance of transparency.
What about
Whether or
That
not
and-
it's actually necessary.
Is that too much of a hassle
No, there's the ticket thing.
to do tickets instead of cash at the bar?
Oh,
Because then you can card them and identify
Right.
their ID and then sell them the tickets like we do at our other
Uh-huh.
events. And then you don't have bartenders handling cash.
that's true.
You set that right up. Set
Anyway,
that table
Right.
next to the people doing,
Yeah, at the
give me
front.
your, yeah.
My plan is to be there.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I didn't think about proposing that to her, but
Jody has an infusion the day before, so it's always possible that something may
yeah,
come up.
yeah. No, that's okay.
I'll be there
We're-
for setup. I wanted
Okay.
to be there for the whole event, but apparently it's date night at the firehouse.
Okay.
What does that mean?
That means I can't wear my slutty 60s dress that I bought for the event that we're.
We have to go back to the firehouse with all the empty.
I'm gonna go set up and then go do some thing there. Put on my chunky joy.
Okay.
Well, let me know if you guys are interested. I think.
Is that open to the public?
You screwing a fireman?
No.
Nope.
Maybe a firefighter?
There's 2 of them.
It is a special district. It is using my tax money.
Nope. It's all foundation.
Oh no! Don't get anybody on that. I guess I'm not using our foundation right then.
Right? Hello.
I seem to just be doing more. Oh man. Let's see. Santa
Jeff.
Cruz County Parks strategic plan.
No transcript of
Wednesday,
that meeting.
April 26th. Is it Wednesday? The 26th?
It is.
I thought it was a Tuesday. Ah,
No.
Good thing I read that.
And they wanted to do it at like 6, and I'm like, no
No.
one's gonna be home at 6.
No,
You
they
need
won't.
to do it late.
Yeah,
You
no,
should
I
offer
copied this
food,
straight from their
too.
site, so it's
Oh,
right.
Wait, it is a Wednesday, because
I know, I thought it was a Tuesday too.
I thought it was a Thursday.
I thought it was a Thursday, listen to you. I probably just wasn't looking at the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That is a
Wednesday. Okay,
Wednesday.
good thing I marked it on the wrong day on their calendar. I would have figured it out that week. Conference, so I RSVP'd for you and Diane, so they're registered. I know that you're not coming. George, I know you may or may not be interested in going to it, or
To the
conference in May.
No, I am.
You're-
I'm going to go on Friday.
The 19th.
Okay, so I need to register for you then.
I'm dropping Jody off at the hospital Friday morning.
Okay.
Then I'll go from 9:30 or 10 until about 3:30.
Okay, so I need to add another person. Does anyone know if Betsy? She didn't reply, so I.
Betsy is stuck in Santa Cruz. Let's find out. Let's-
Okay.
well,
I mean,
she's
I'll
waiting.
bug her, but I wanted to get us all dialed in so we were registered. People wanted to go. And then we sponsored $250 for the event. So we'll be a sponsor
Okay,
there.
great.
Yeah, they were very
Wonderful.
appreciative, and I said, "I'm sorry we can't do more, but we appreciate you guys coming to
We just bought this big
our
ass
area."
property.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll
it's
hook
a
you up
savings to
with,
us not to have to go stay somewhere and all that stuff. So
Right.
you know, it's,
I'll hook you up with free drinks, maybe.
exactly. I know it's like, oh, you have to spend a lot to get the free ticket. So I thought, well, we'll just do this. And then I already told you about the land trust meeting we had, and I think that was probably about it on
Okay.
that. Sorry, I
Why,
went
thank
on and
you.
on. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the regular agenda, we have unfinished business, which would be item number 12, action and discussion to review and approve the KBCZ 90.1 FM Policy and Procedures Manual. I trust the board all received a copy of that.
Naturally. Did we make any
And
changes?
I will, to put it, to get started on it, I'm going to move to approve the policy and procedure manual with the changes that we make today.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There are, I think it covers everything that we had asked for. I think it does address the entitlement issue that you were talking about last time. There are a couple of typos, and that's all, we can correct those really easily, but other than that, that was the only comment that I had about it, is that I thought it,
Okay.
I thought it addressed those issues.
I think we need to change, where it talks about the administrative fee, rather than assigning a dollar value to it, just to have it be an administrative fee determined by the.
Annual
Where is that? Hold on.
administrative fee, because I was
Oh,
thinking
here.
instead of saying a year, just to say annual, so people know that it.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual dollar amount.
Contribute,
Well, that's
and
right.
just say
And-
contribute and
and-
administration fee.
An administrative
Period.
fee as
An annual
as
administrative
determined
fee.
by
As determined, yeah.
as determined by the district manager.
An annual
Because then we don't have
administrative-
to say,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I wouldn't even say are asked. You have to pay a program fee if you want to participate in a program.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, wait. Where does it say?
I've got
Like, I'm
it.
Oh,
looking
are
at
asked to
the
contribute,
volunteer-
yeah.
right.
Second paragraph.
Okay,
and
so
then
all
also there's
participants
a-
slash DJs contribute an administration fee.
An annual
Annual
administrative fee.
administrative fee as determined by the
District staff or district manager.
district
That's
manager.
determined by the district manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also put that same language on the fourth bullet point.
Okay. Pay the current administration.
Because again, we don't want to have it typed into our policy manual and have it be set.
Yeah, no, then you have to
$25.
bring it back every time.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
Well, if
Can
you're
you point
are you
the-
keeping a corrected copy?
yeah.
Okay, just then
Go through
the
the-
last bullet point, it should be participate, not participant.
Agree to participate at 2, okay.
Agree to attend bi-monthly DJ group meetings.
Oh,
Twice a month.
Yeah,
Do we even
really.
have that right now? I mean, not really, but.
No, it doesn't say 200.
Agree to attend, the second to last bullet point.
Oh,
Agree to
bi-monthly
attend
meeting.
bi-monthly DJ group meetings. I guess like once it gets going more, they're gonna have
she
two
needs
meetings
to
a
have them
month.
every other month.
Semi-monthly.
She needs to say that, yeah. Semi-monthly?
Wait a minute, too, because bi-monthly is twice, I always get
Doesn't
confused.
bi-monthly mean twice a month?
Why don't you just put mandatory DJ meetings
Okay.
Yeah.
instead of
Like,
specifying when they
Why don't we
I know,
fall?
I'm
just
like,
agree
they're
to
every other
attend
month, so-
DJ group meetings.
Agree to attend
Just-
DJ
I
group
think
meetings, yeah.
bi-monthly means twice a month, and semi-monthly means every other month. I think you're right.
I'd
No, I
have to
think
look
you're
that
right.
up. I don't know.
think that's what you were saying.
Possibly. I'm not sure what else.
I'm sorry, I'm confusing things. I think you're right, just take out,
Yeah,
agree
just
to
take out.
attend the, mandatory or something like that? DJ group meetings, or scheduled, or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, just agree to attend DJ group meetings. I think that's fine.
That's what
I think that's fine.
Yeah,
Agree to
yeah.
attend DJ group meetings.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're gonna,
Okay.
okay, did you have other typos that
I
were on
didn't
that page?
on that
or-
page.
Okay,
I'm good until page 4.
Okay.
Or our page 8. Under equipment and facilities, it uses the word expressed twice when it means express.
okay. Programs may be produced during
Programs
regular
may be-
operation hours unless why is she even saying that? Unless permission has been given by.
And you could even just say
Regular operation
permission. You
hours.
could take out
Yeah,
expressed
I was gonna say that.
entirely.
Hmm. Unless permission has been
they're
given by the
using
station manager.
Whoever
Right.
wrote it is using a word that they want to say, it has
Yeah.
to specifically grant
Right.
that license. Right, but it makes it sound like you just
I'm
have to
just
say
gonna take it out in both. DJs are not broadcasting without permission from the. I
Yeah,
like that. I've
the
never
word express
think
comes out for sure.
expressed.
Because it should be expressed.
Right, yes, exactly. No, this is a secret. You have to, this is one you have to guess, right?
I was
It may
thinking of,
exist, it may not.
I was thinking of pumping when you said that. I'm like, express.
We're all in the different
That's where
stages
we're
of life.
The last one I've got is page 7, our page 11, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th paragraph down that starts off bullying or making
1, 2,
threats.
3.
The last
Sorry.
sentence, anyone who feels they have been a victim, station manager, should contact the.
Sorry.
I think this is a Freudian slip, I think.
These are important typos.
I'm sorry, I know too
Wait,
much about
okay.
this.
I know. I was like, hold on, let me find this. 2,
Five-
3, 4,
five paragraphs
Bullying
down.
or making threats against
Last sentence.
present grounds for anyone
Will
who
be
feels
sent
they have been.
strictly or straight to United Airlines for.
Yes, exactly. Really, that was unbelievable. Oh God.
Oh, that was really.
Talk about. I mean, the stuff you used to be able to get away with before everyone had a camera. you
Yes.
That shit? Really?
No.
Dragging
If
them
you'd
down
done
the
it-
aisle?
If you'd have done it, it wouldn't. Half the world wouldn't have known it. China wouldn't have
Immediately.
weighed in on it. You know, right? You know. Say, it's got 100 million hits in China. Okay, that's all I got. I just would put should contact anyone who feels they have been a victim should contact the general manager or should contact the station managers. It says. Okay,
Okay.
that's all.
exciting.
That's all I got.
Okay.
There just needs to be a comma. It's very lame, but on page
No, it's good.
5 or 9, responsibilities of producers and DJs. Third paragraph, KBCZ is a non-religious,
1, 2,
non-political, NC, non-commercial, comma, educational. Not a non-commercial, educational.
On the third
Non-commercial,
paragraph, sorry.
educational station.
Yeah.
No, that's a
DJs are
good
solely-
point.
Parentheses.
That's a good point.
That's the fourth one, isn't it? Okay.
I'm sorry, third paragraph, sorry.
KBC is non-religious, non-political. Say it again, sorry.
Right,
NC,
comma right there.
non-commercial,
Commercial,
comma,
education, yes.
educational, yeah.
Thank you.
And you know, Brian, I actually think that making something this as professional, and it's why I look at it too, you make it as professional, as grammatical as possible, it actually has it's part of your outreach in a way. I mean, people look at it who know what they're doing
Yes,
and kind
I
of go,
know.
oh, well, this is nicely done,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I was thinking
On that
that's
same
why.
page, attendance,
Huh?
on that same page,
Yeah.
attendance, first sentence, in attend, take out bi-monthly, usually.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. Sorry, kiddo.
All right. Just keep it conversation. So it's crazy to make it.
You know, I have the feeling that the word, so on page 7, the last paragraph, codes of conduct and online conduct, using the email communication form to launch complaints, I have the feeling they mean to say lodge.
Okay, hold on.
Uh,
On codes of
launching a
conduct.
So it's like the last
Okay.
paragraph on the page, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down about in the middle of the page.
I kind of like launch complaints.
Well,
I kind of like that. Like,
You can, yeah,
Launch it off.
I get the,
Isn't that what they
You
do?
know, like that.
that's what it's like.
well, it is like that, isn't it? All right. Well, then,
No,
then
lodge,
leave it.
yeah.
Then leave it. No, I think it's fine. I read it and I did get a funny image from it, you know. So, but just leave it, that's
I
fine.
like it.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah, the previous page, Hallie, sorry, page 6, the last
Oh, yes, sorry.
sentence. Coordinated, the last sentence, very last sentence on that page.
Underwriter payments, that one?
Underwriter payment is
Coordinated.
coordinated.
Ooh,
like that, too.
very good.
Coordinated.
I missed that.
I can't wait to go through mine. I'm sure I have a million.
Coordinated.
Coordinated. I don't think that probably has
Ain't no passing phase.
actual,
Look at it. No, I
you know.
absolutely,
because there's other spaces to work in
yeah.
there. But-
But we
but,
should
you
do a
know.
little administrative response.
hmm I mean, it's been, we're on week 2 of a lot of response.
Oh,
So this was it was going to be in the meeting and then presented, but
Is this a complaint letter?
couldn't do it, so she dropped it off instead because she was too emotional.
all right.
And
But I was
Talk
like,
about
there's
that
not
later,
real,
for sure.
yeah,
I'm sorry, there's one more
sorry,
too.
thank you.
On
Distracted here.
page 5, the first paragraph, 3 lines down, 4 lines down, KBCZ reserves the right to manipulate scheduling, including.
Is that the word we want to use?
Wait, hold on.
But no-
KBCZ, where are you? Honors?
Reserves the right to manipulate scheduling, including but not limited to rescheduling shows with just cause and removing.
Okay, KBCZ reserves the right to manipulate scheduling. Manipulate.
No,
There's
that's
something
not
wrong with
a
this
good word.
sentence,
I see.
actually.
To, reserves the right to,
Where are you
Control.
scheduling your shows?
Or reserves the right to,
she's trying to say, yeah,
Control?
like can
Yeah,
change at any
control
time, but
scheduling.
reserves the right to, yeah, just say control.
Yeah.
Control scheduling, including but not limited to rescheduling shows with just,
With
With
just
just
cause,
cause.
but you can reschedule a
Just
show
cause
for
should be
any
out of
reason
there.
whatsoever.
that's too like, because then that's subjective. What is
KBCZ
just
reserves
cause?
the right to control scheduling.
I'm
Period.
sure that's lifted from another manual and
Yeah.
it's there as some sort of legal jargon that we may not be privy to. So, I don't know.
Just cause means a whole nother justification for what just cause means. I mean, that's my only, being vague and reserving the right to control it is a good thing. Because when you say with just cause, then the next argument is, what's just cause? I want to talk to the board about that.
KBCZ
Their
reserves the right to control
My
scheduling.
definition of just cause.
That's what we're here for. Bring it on in to the board.
Shuffle on
I think
in.
it's perfectly okay to say KBCZ reserves the right to control scheduling.
Period.
And remove time slots at any time.
Okay, yeah, keep
Yeah.
that in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Control scheduling, yes, exactly,
Yeah.
right. So take out that whole phrase in there. Okay, that's a much better sentence. Okay, all right.
There you go. So it kind of does spell it out, like why do they do it? Oh, they took it, they went up here, your listenership was down.
We don't have any.
We don't have any way to write,
green-
like, know that anyway, right now.
And then
Yeah.
under indemnification, at the last paragraph, each KBCZ member, it should say participant or program participant.
Okay.
It's really important to me that we continue to identify this as a program
Yes.
as opposed to a
Each
membership-based
KBCZ
organization.
participant,
Participants of KPCZ.
thanks.
Each
So all
KBCZ
members?
participant?
Just participants of KBCZ understand.
Or KBCZ program participants, whatever.
Yeah,
Just so long
participants of
as-
KBCZ understand that understand that he, she.
I might have missed it, but do we have anything in here that talks about access to, because we had talked about this whole, and this has been kind of an issue with a couple of the DJs, one that's not with us anymore, the clear, like, how you can kind of arbitrate problems. So if you don't see eye to eye with another DJ or with the station manager, what the next level, because we had talked about having the radio committee, what's their
Advisory
the
body,
advisory
yeah.
panel.
I know we skipped them, we took them out and it goes straight to us after
Yeah,
her.
it says it right.
So she's the
Does it
arbiter,
say?
we're the appeal board
It's on
essentially
page.
and how this.
Does
No,
it?
I'm sorry, the same.
Oh, on that.
We've been
Little late.
talking about
So that committee is
Resetting
established,
yeah.
it's just not filled.
Where is it? Complaint
And
feedback?
that's
Oh,
really
the
at your
resolution.
discretion.
Yeah, and we're, yeah. And
But
you
I
might
don't
be
think-
referencing that from their last meeting, because I had mentioned that what I would like to see is that group, since they're not taking on other aspects of the radio station, that is a huge thing for Tina to manage, is the
It's
Conflict.
peer-to-peer
ins and outs
judgment.
of the, yeah,
resolution,
who's
is that
coming
what you're
in.
talking
Like when
Yeah.
we adopt this, then that advisory, I would think that basically it would go to that advisory committee, then it would go to you, and then it would come to us,
Mhm.
just to provide those layers of filter. Now, I don't sense that this board has any qualms whatsoever hearing any person come off the street and talk about anything they want to within our jurisdiction, but for filtering out some of the stuff that we've seen
Mhm.
and taking some of the pressure off of fairly low paid, almost volunteer program
Mhm.
staff, being Tina.
Mhm.
You know, she makes a determination, they appeal it to this board,
Mhm.
it goes to you if they appeal
Yeah,
it again.
that's what we've been talking about, is that there's a
But it
process.
just depends on how much you feel like that's gonna burden you.
I don't think it will. I think
Because
that's
we'll take it.
what I'd like to see, is it not burdening her. So I think part of the
That was
process
the
of becoming a
whole purpose of
DJ
setting that
should
committee
be
up.
that this group is, I mean, she can be a part of that group, just like I'm a part of this group, essentially. Like, we're talking and, you know, she makes recommendation or
It's backup
converses
for
on
her.
issues, but it's a group of people that, it's not just her say on who comes and goes or what the issues are, or, because otherwise then the next thing is it comes to me, and then it has, and then you're left with like someone who's a staff member and someone who's a volunteer, and we're on like the third time of this in 2 months of this same scenario. So I'm trying to figure out a way that we can
That committee was
stop
set up for that
beforehand,
process.
so that there's something that they feel like, okay, I'm not just being, Hallie and Tina aren't just friends and
Right.
plotting against me. This is actually like a group of people that have made a decision based on the information, and it's not a personal attack.
And then,
And,
you know, that committee is appointed by recommendation from you.
Yeah, I mean, it's
We appoint it.
right.
But it comes from your recommendations, so, you know, putting it out to that group of DJs or whoever, look, if you have input that you want to give in the governance of this program,
Right, this is
get
the-
on this committee,
yeah.
but you have to fill out this thing that we make every committee member fill out, and then it does go to the board, and
Mhm.
you become this level of arbiter, and then
Yeah.
they feel more empowered, and I think we get less of that sideways stuff, which we're always going to have.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm
and it's
confused. I'm confused. So you're talking about establishing a
We already
new.
did.
no, it's established. They're just not active. Like, there's
Wait,
an
we have-
advisory
We have an
radio.
advisory committee.
There's 2 members.
Yes.
There never was a third put in
Okay.
place.
So you're just talking about filling out that committee, so at least there's 3 to 5 or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
and
we
giving
want.
essentially like a description to it that's a little more pointed
think
at
that-
some of the
So my
the
question
issues
is,
between.
so that's what I said initially, right? Am I mistaken about what I just said? So that was always my understanding was, if there's a problem,
Mhm.
it goes to the district man, or it goes to the station manager.
Yeah.
If the station manager is not able to resolve it, or if the problem is with the station manager,
Mhm.
that it would go,
So the committee we established like a year and a half ago.
the advisory
Mhm.
committee would be involved, and they would be the ultimate body that would kind of make a decision,
And it would go to her.
and then
After
you
that.
would, what, ratify the decision?
She would be the next appeal. Like if they
So
wanted
if they
to
weren't
carry it
okay,
on.
if they weren't cool with the advisory committee, so that's what I thought the chain of
Yeah.
the complaint was.
Yes.
So,
And she wouldn't be
so what I'm
reporting
saying
back
is
to the
that
member.
that's not in here. This is just
Yeah.
between station manager.
Right.
and
So it's in a
district
separate
manager.
document that's just been created, because that was not originally, we were seeing certain aspects of the station being used by that advisory body. What would come up, like we weren't even sure at that point what would come up.
Well, we had created that
But-
advisory committee as people in the district and professionals in the
Yes,
field, so
yeah,
that if
to
we had
help get
questions
us-
on
We were in a much
FCC
different place a year and a half
or
ago, and it was to like
equipment or-
help us
yeah,
get somewhere with
get
it.
going, yeah.
But the other
And it-
real purpose of my suggesting that to this board
Was to
Yeah.
was to put
arbitrate.
this thing,
Yeah.
this buffer, because I
Totally.
knew this shit was gonna happen, because I've seen it in other community organizations, like
You can turn the
community
heater
TV.
on if you're cold, sorry.
So, I mean, it's all in the ordinance
So
we've already, or the
that's-
resolution we
That's what
already
the
passed.
understanding has always been. You
Mhm.
just created a separate document.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is that that needs to be incorporated in
Okay.
this complaint feedback
Okay,
part. Just
and the
because we
lingo's
want-
already in that other document, so
That's it.
I can bring that back just as one more draft, but
Or you can just cop it off there and incorporate. We have a motion that basically says that you take the
Yeah.
spirit of the direction of the board and.
okay, so add advisory body and
That
its
was the
role.
idea.
Right. And I
I
think
don't
that,
think you really need to describe the advisory body's role.
Okay,
I think it just needs to be simply that, they fill out the form, district manager, if, it
Just
can't be
the-
resolved, it goes to the advisory board.
Mhm.
And then if the participant still wants to appeal, then it goes to the district manager. We don't even need to define the
Okay.
advisory, we just need to say that those are the
those
levels.
are levels, yeah, and that's what that other doc says, so I'll just,
Yeah,
I could even just put it in here as
as part of the,
part of the
why have a
manual.
separate
Yeah,
doc for
Paste
that?
it.
yeah, okay,
Because then everything is together and it's just like,
And it-
oh, well, I didn't realize that I had to go see this other doc for my appeals or
right,
whatever.
no, I understand, yeah. Advisory body, and then,
and again, I think the whole intent of us doing that, at least my intent in that portion of it back in the day, was to create a process by which people had to, instead of just, it's not that the board's not willing to hear that stuff, it's just that people can't just lob these fire bombs over the top and expect they're still gonna be able to participate in a district program without taking the effort to follow a process that we established in a public meeting to participate. I mean,
The meetings early on, when we had our very first DJs and we were doing it, there was issue, and that's when I was just like, because one of them, who's no longer with us, was like, well, what are the processes if, who is making decisions? And I was like, here's how
Yeah,
it's
where
laid
this has
out.
gone. Yeah.
So,
yeah, something
Um,
exciting about being new with so much of what we're doing is that it's new and building, but we don't, a lot of the stuff we're coming up as
as we
we're
go,
going.
totally.
And I try and tell people that, they're like, oh, like, we've never had a full-time, like, like, these are just new things. So it's bound to have some ups and downs to it, and all of it's been a learning tool for sure, for everybody involved, so.
What I'm struck with is how much of human history is exactly that process. It's how you have these crazy laws. It's because somebody does something. You say, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's under the law. You say, well, there will be.
Put your wipers on. It's raining.
There even the. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I've just been struck with it recently,
Yeah.
going through, looking at. So why do you have that law?
Totally.
Right? Yeah. Right.
did anybody have any other comments to add? We have a motion on the table to adopt with the changes the board requested tonight, be incorporated by staff.
That
And we
was
have
all-
a second?
I thought we had a second.
We did?
Yeah.
It was Galton, Hamilton, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a long time ago.
I know, so hearing
Sorry.
no other comment at this time,
Well, it's exciting to get this passed.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Tina and Hallie.
I didn't do much.
Moving on to new business, we have action, discussion, review, and approve the interim fee schedule or structure and policy manual for Bear Creek facility.
So this is very rough draft. I apologize I didn't get farther on it, but kind of with upcoming events and things that we are planning on doing out there, like I said, I felt like should at least start putting some things down in writing, and as people start participating or want to participate with us as volunteers or staff,
Right.
that it'd be nice to have at least a few things kind of started on this task. And I also felt like the things that I see us doing in this next year would be renting the facility and opening the pool, tennis, and perhaps workout room. So having said that, I thought, well, let me just at least put a few things into writing. I know I was expecting maybe some of the neighbors to be here tonight, because I did reach out to them saying we're, looking at some things, and these are by no means like set in stone. This is just a rough draft of concept and idea, which very much follow what we already do at this facility, or our parks.
Right. So from the board tonight, what would you like? Would you
I don't-
like an approval
I
for
don't
this?
think in order for us to like hold our party on April 22nd that we would necessarily need to pass this or anything, since it's an in-house thing. I would like to feel good about starting to, book some parties and things for summer for the facility.
Right.
I'm not going to take pool party rentals yet, but certainly, the clubhouse or picnic areas,
Right.
people have been asking about.
So I could move that we approve, just, obviously we're going to discuss it, but I
Yeah,
think the
no, and it
motion,
needs a lot of
if we
edit,
could
and I
discuss
haven't-
it,
right.
would be to approve the interim
Mhm.
fee structure and policy manual.
Okay, yeah.
So,
So I think that the fee structure is good.
mhm,
There are some areas of the policy manual that need a little bit of refinement.
mhm.
So I would feel more comfortable with approving a fee schedule and approving the fee schedule, the interim fee schedule.
Interim fee schedule.
And then approving in concept the policy and procedure manual and having that come back at the May meeting.
Which was my intent, so thank you for clarifying
But the fee
that.
schedule looks good.
Okay.
I mean, in terms of like, this looks like a pretty solid schedule for that facility that sort of keeps in mind what the county parks are charging, and then we back it off.
Mhm.
When we had all these negotiations with county, and they had this discussion around co-marketing weddings and things like that, the sense that I got from them is that, in the valley, the Highlands is the big wedding venue, Quail Hollow is smaller, and we're even more boutique than that. And in that spirit, we would be more in line with Quail Hollow and sort of 30% less than Highlands, because we're sort of in that same general area in terms of capacity, and this sort of reflects that.
Mhm.
I think it's something that my feeling is that if we pass a fee schedule, she can start booking reservations for non-weddings.
Right.
But the policy stuff, I think there were a couple things that I saw that weren't like huge flags, but just some grammatical stuff and this and that, and then some other stuff I want to check. I want to pin down the kahunas at the county to make sure that they're at least they're complicit, at least in the back door, as if they're not going to come out and present their stuff, that we're all on the same page, because we're more responsible to our constituency than they are to theirs.
Yeah, no, and I think, if you guys would look over the numbers or anything, like I said, it's a very, very rough draft of a start of something, so I just wanted to at least be able to have some edits of this sort of concept in place to take to them, because all of this has just been us talking about this
Right.
or that or another, and some of this has just been my thoughts on, if hours of use or things that I thought seemed reasonable to put on that community up there, but none of it by any means has been I don't get the impression that the county offices are going to have much concern over when we have our park open
No.
No,
as
and
for that kind of stuff. So I thought if you have feelings about it, so any feedback on that, and I know it needs grammatical and all that kind of
think it
stuff
looks
work
good.
too.
I think just politically, if we approve it in that portion
Yes,
of it
yeah.
in concept, and then say, hey, we're ready to move forward with this
Yeah,
with little
here's a
tweaks here and there.
Draft,
but
what do you guys think?
we're trying to make sure that we're honoring the spirit of the agreements that we made, because
Totally,
that's
yep.
sort of what I put out there.
Yes,
And then what our next meeting is, May 7th?
yeah,
We're still ahead of a rental schedule.
Right.
So we can
Yeah.
have our procedures in place, already having our fee schedule in place so staff can at least anticipate rentals.
mhm,
And also sort of gives us like, well, we read it once and we're going to read it again. So the public that didn't show up tonight,
Right.
after we tell them
Yeah.
we've read it once and approved it in concept, they can look at it then maybe if they're interested and say they have some issue. But it all looked like pretty common sense stuff
yeah, yep,
and stuff that we've all talked about as a board.
So on Tessa's behalf, I will move.
yeah, say the sentence again, so I
Yes,
can.
well,
Sorry.
it's
Review
actually
and
Tessa's
approve the
motion.
interim fee
It's actually Tessa's
structure.
motion, I'm just pre-saying it, okay, which is to approve,
Yes.
to approve the
Hold on,
interim fee schedule and to approve the form of the policy manual and with
Approving concept.
approving concept, approving the form, approving the concept of the policy manual. Yep.
And then have that portion returned, not the fee schedule
Yeah.
at the May meeting.
Right. This is Tessa's motion.
And return.
I'll second Tessa's motion. Oh, wait, do I understand it? Yes. I do.
You were the first? The
You were
first?
the first.
Okay, Gall and Fitz, how about?
No, this is
I can
Tessa-
second.
This is Tessa's motion.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
there's actually an advantage to this because she's our liaison with the county. So I think having this.
So you can blame it on her.
Not that you-
Exactly.
Not that
Exactly.
anybody would, but
No,
she'll
no,
be
I
able to go into the
understand, yeah,
meeting and say,
and
I
say,
brought a
"This is what
motion
I
before
did,"
the board
yes.
too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, that's kind of nice to be able to say. I mean, it doesn't mean anything here, but in the world, it does.
In the world.
Here,
No.
someone might find it.
I agree,
Okay.
yeah.
No,
What was
Okay.
your question?
So now I feel very
Me too.
comfortable
So,
discussing it.
All right, let's go.
I'm looking
Okay.
at the, so for the clubhouse, $80 an hour for parties.
Okay, you're looking at the fee, yeah.
Meetings under 30 people, $45 an hour. Who normally takes those slots?
Breast milk people or Cub Scouts or people who can't fit in this, 4-H. Even though they get
Never
half
afford to
off.
spend $45.
But they
Well,
get
and
half
so
off
the
of
thing that we do here, if you turn to the next page,
Community groups.
community groups or not-for-profit organizations often set up a different arrangement with us. And I wouldn't see that space being any different than that. But say the business association wanted to hold something up there, or, an organization of sorts that's not a
Not a
not-for-profit, like, group,
Meaning, yeah,
could utilize that space like that.
okay.
I anticipate us probably coming up with some other things,
Missed that
like
part.
county does, off-season is 25% less, so certain months are cheaper than others.
But we net up in the off season, so
yeah.
that'd be high season for us.
I know,
right?
it's true,
Everybody
actually,
wants
because
to
it's
come
like they
and
want
have
to
a
come
party.
inside, yeah. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do that for seasonal, but I could
Right.
see doing maximum and minimums differently, like, because when you have an outdoor space use, you have a tendency to, you're gonna be outdoors longer, and your rental, so they set it up where they have 10-hour minimum in the peak season, so someone can't just come in and then rent it for 2
Oh, and ruin
hours.
the whole thing.
Right.
or you just can't do that. But in the winter, I can go rent Highlands for 2 hours. So they do things like that to offset, so that someone's more encouraged to rent it, I think is part of the idea, like in the off season, and then also gives kind of some leeway on other kinds of rentals to come in. Because they know they're making a priority for weddings in the season of weddings. I mean, that's their business, essentially.
So in
like,
my
that's what they're
mind,
trying to hit up.
The difference would be if I wanted to establish a local San Lorenzo Valley chapter of Indivisible, and I wanted to hold a meeting that I expected there would be 30 people or less at, it would cost me the lower rate. But if I wanted to have a mom's night out, it would cost me the higher rate because that's a party.
Oh, wait, no, I'm just going to your house.
a private party, but you know, that would be the kind of difference, is an organization.
I mean,
then
and
she
it's
would-
certainly up for,
No, no. I'm
anyway,
just
it's up for
curious
talk
who-
because I also feel like we're gonna price a lot of people out with that rate, and I want it to
Yeah.
be used,
I
but
don't think so, though, when you look
I
at
also
the
think
prevailing
about
rates.
like, but I also think about even a group of 20 people coming in and having alcohol is, it's not a small thing to deal with. Even a group coming
No,
in
no,
with
no,
like
yeah,
15
that's-
kids for their birthday party, it's like, it is something we
Mess.
have to, yeah,
Yes.
Right,
organize and deal with and,
right. There's
um,
cleanup, there's staff involved. right?
yeah, you know,
absolutely.
the open and close, the checks and all
Right.
that, you know, just every,
Well, and
aspect
that
of it.
facility, we've really put it out there that that's not, we have alternative, lesser expensive
Yep.
facilities
Yes.
for people to use in this community.
Yep.
Yep.
right. You cannot, there's barely
wanna
anywhere
rent it
else.
out for
We
20
rent
bucks an
this
hour, man.
party space for like 20 an hour here.
I don't wanna do
You
that
know,
there.
it's like 23 an
'cause-
hour to rent
Right.
this room and you get to have the whole park and, you know, like that's so reasonable. Like there's not too many other spaces you can rent
Time
like that.
spent cleaning your house.
Yeah. And we have no maximums, minimums, all that stuff's very open for people here. And if the gym happens to be open, we don't locker the gym separately, you know, so I think you're right, there's a lot of flexibility and other options. The parks are so cheap to have parties in, like, you know.
Mhm.
No, you don't even need a reserve. You just go- Yeah, I was
Yes.
just curious who,
Yeah.
what demographic took up that chunk of that line.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to have something in there that was, I wasn't expecting someone to have to pay 80 an hour for an hour meeting that they were, I don't know. There seems
Like-
to be these groups that come around, I don't
My
know.
HOA that I used to
Yeah.
belong to would
Uh-huh.
rent this room for their meetings because there wasn't any nobody wanted to do it in their house anymore.
Mhm.
And so this was a great space for that. Maybe the HOA up there wants to meet at that facility.
Right. They don't get it right.
They're not gonna need an alcohol permit.
Yeah, right, right.
Well, maybe.
I know, I'm like, well, actually, that's why he wanted to have it here. He's like, you guys don't allow alcohol? Perfect. I want to have a meeting there.
Oh, man. So I have a couple
That's funny.
of questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have that be under the rules and regulations. So you've got hours of use for the picnic, park and picnic area, and the tennis club use. We're not listing the hours of use for the pool. I don't know that we need to do that, but I do see that, or the clubhouse, but I
So,
do see that
yeah.
the time restrictions for rental use
Mm-hmm.
for events and party rentals are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah, we gotta
Do
back
you
that up
wanna
an hour.
go to 11 p.m. because
Well,
of?
it-
The
it
use
includes
being,
cleanup.
includes cleanup.
No,
I would still
I
back
understand
Okay.
that, but I know that at Highlands Park, when you rent it for weddings, you have to be cleaned up and out of there by 10. And that might be a good buffer for neighbors. Cause you have to shut your wedding down by 9,
Mm-hmm.
you know, DJ, music goes off.
Music
Well,
goes off
so
at 8, I think.
Outdoor restrictions are 8 for up here is what we
Mhm.
put, and then,
The indoor would be 10 p.m. if you're throwing
Indoor
a
would be
house
10, and then you
party,
have to have
but
a
do we
hour.
want, just because of the
I just don't, I
sensitive
wanted like
nature-
vehicles, like the gates to be closing at 11. Like you're out of there and,
I want them closed by 10.
okay.
Well, that's something subject to talk
Like our
about,
event is going till 10.
You know, I mean,
But it's our event. It's not a private event that we have to have staff then come do a sweep. So actually, we're gonna have activity on that site until after 11 when we do a private rental.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I mean, I kind of look at what we
No,
do.
that's
We're so
good.
much more responsible than general public that we don't know.
Yeah.
We just, those are so many unknown factors.
Well, and we don't even have to clean up our own thing right away.
That's exactly right.
I know, we're like 3
Just
weeks
shut that gate
later.
and block it.
and we're not,
It's
yeah,
not
so-
open.
But I mean, we can always adjust it. I'm just wondering, like, is that something we want to do? Is
Yeah,
that
no,
what we
that's
do?
good
No,
feedback.
know
I
what
think I
your-
was-
I know
right.
your thought is like, you know, you can have your party go till 10
Yeah,
with the gates locked by 11.
because we allow till 10 here.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it might be good to have it go that late, just to, you know, let the neighbors know that this is a
We're here, no.
facility, we're here, and yeah, I mean, noise permits are
Is 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock,
10 to 8.
and we expect that, from 10 to 11, it's gonna be cleanup time. I mean, that does give people a little bit more flexibility. Gives us another hour of rental for a wedding, so, I don't know. I just brought that up as a question.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And then the other thing is that I didn't see it, I don't know that we need to address it, but during like recreational swim, I see that no glass, but plastic is okay. Are we having a no alcohol?
I haven't gotten that far yet,
Okay.
because I think I need to
Policy.
involve some other
Because part
things
of,
in
like,
there,
Some
but
trout farm replacement.
Totally,
I know, I'm
mean,
like,
part
I
of
feel
it
like-
is,
And the
like,
snack
people are
bar.
so excited by
bring-
that idea to be able to come in.
Bring your own refreshments.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're gonna have somebody patrolling alcohol use if we say, no. I mean, we're pretty liberal and.
Yeah, I mean, we
We do
say
in
no,
our
our whole,
parks.
I was reading all our ordinances, it's like no alcohol in the parks unless by permit. And every weekend, there's a lot of alcohol in our
Every
parks, so.
weekend, the last 3 days, the Rummies have been having a
But
party.
Yeah.
the sheriff can go down and stop it.
Yes, but there
and they
is an
do
ordinance in place
from time
that
to
says
time.
that, so.
I just feel like we have to have tighter control on this facility.
Yeah.
At least initially. And any of that kind of stuff we should be dispensing. I don't know that I would actually encourage
I-
people to BYOB at that pool.
I would think like for the grand opening idea, what I was floating with the county was that we had like a pool party where we did do that, where there was some, alcoholic beverages, barbecue, everything was open. We had tumbling tutor come and they do stuff and play on the tennis court. I don't know. We have just kind of these different activities stations around the facility, and it's a 4-hour party. People come and go from it or whatever it is. And I thought for something like that, I could see us doing, alcohol around the pool. But for people for rec swim times, like, I don't think we're going to be able to swing that.
No, I think.
At least, like you said in the beginning, I don't know if there might be ways
Eventually
that
we
we
could
start
get
to do
into
little,
that.
like, events or.
I would
been
love to
thinking,
see
like
it
spa
eventually
days or
have-
something, like you have your
Or
wine and
adult
your-
swim. Like sometimes we could have a rec adult swim, and that could be offered. Or we could get into the thing, because I know I've heard a lot of people say the trout farm was a huge loss because you could get hot dogs and
Yeah,
beer
I know.
and sit there and do that at the pool while your kid's swimming, and nobody got out of hand, and it was
Right.
totally fine.
There was no drunk driving accidents.
Well, you
But
had to
they-
pay, like, there's one
They
thing.
dispensed it. That's kind of the thing for me, is I would not want to invite people to bring their own stuff into that controlled
Yeah.
area. Now, if somebody brings their own 6-pack into the picnic tables that they haven't reserved because it's open space and there's no reservation, that's not something I really want to police. I don't think that that's.
It's like down here.
But
That's how
when
I
we're
see
talking
that.
about inside the gate
Yeah.
and the insurances and stuff, I do think that we should reserve the right to dispense that, whether we pick a vendor to do it for us or
We
whatever.
build that into some staff for some excellent revenue.
Totally.
At some point down the
Yes,
line, have a
like
snack
concessions,
shack
like
or
Take out
something.
Yeah.
that crappy weight
Part
room
of
and
the
put a little
concession,
snack
yes.
shack like they
Right.
do at the frickin' high school field where they're running,
Or in the
a toaster
kitchen, where the
oven and a
kitchen is.
Yeah,
frickin' hot
totally.
plate. Whatever.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I do think, maybe I'm just being the old fuddy-duddy, I think it is worth having a no alcohol in the open areas part rule, We don't have to police it, but I think it's a good thing to have.
Why have it if you're not gonna police it?
Well,
We already do. I mean, people aren't supposed to drink alcohol down here without a permit. So I agree, it's good to have it because if somebody gets out of control.
exactly, you
We've
have a
got
way
a
to
policy
control
that says
them.
you can't do
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And you can call the sheriff, and the sheriff, based on that policy, can haul them out.
Right. So it's just, I can see difficulties with, large groups that would come to use the open areas that might abuse
Did
such.
not seek a permit and
Might
the
seek-
controls that come with that.
Right, exactly. Right. So I would just make it a blanket, no alcohol, and then, I'm in the open areas,
Oh,
so-
yeah. No, I think we would,
Right.
I think in concept, we were talking about whether or not we would allow it ever for
The controlled
Rec
area.
swim.
I know,
Yeah.
Adult rec swim.
I'm addressing something that Tess
Yeah,
had mentioned.
yeah.
Or,
Right.
sorry, Director Fitzgerald had mentioned about
Right.
not policing
Mhm.
the open areas, but I think it's worth having the rule in the open areas, just
Yeah.
the same way we do at
Mhm.
all of
Mhm.
our facilities have.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the one difference up there would be that there's gonna be staff kind of working in a park at times,
Right,
which we don't have at any of our other parks.
Which is
exactly.
great.
And it's
It's
going to be
remote.
more difficult to get there.
Yeah,
So it's going to eliminate
yes, yeah,
certain
That's
people aren't going to
true.
be getting there.
The junction
Right.
crew, for
Right.
Yeah.
instance.
Right.
yep. Yeah, but there are people with cars that I could see parking out for the day and hanging out that, I mean, that could be something we deal with in the future, we'll see. But yeah, certainly no different
We could always offer one
than.
of those empty spaces as a free substation office.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
For the remote areas.
Oh, look, like the high school, like at the high school.
I know, tell me about it.
One suggestion that I would make, Hallie,
You don't want to be an adult, is that what you said?
Chill from the other end of the table.
How to
What's
get in the
that?
pool?
had we finished that
So-
particular area of exploration? I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah, I
change the
think when I
subject,
was
but-
writing the glass or not, I was thinking even just people's beverages or drinks.
Oh, yeah,
You
Like
just can't have
the
glass at a pool.
glasses, yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
common sense, yeah.
Right.
I read through a couple times, I was like, oh, I don't see anything that says no alcohol or no,
Yeah.
I do see that we, provide alcohol permits and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
When it was a country
It was
club,
just left
did
open.
they sell it?
No, but people were able, you could
You
just
just
bring your
bring, yeah.
margaritas.
It's kind of like you had it, like it was your,
It was like your.
like your
It
house,
was
you
like
know?
your
Yeah.
private club, yeah.
There's so,
you
I mean,
could
it's
go
gonna be a
there.
little hard for the people that,
We're
are-
used to that,
yeah.
yeah.
And
but
I get
they
that,
can-
it's like, it is sad to see a pool there that you can't just go jump in, like
Oh, but I was talking about the alcohol.
yeah.
I do think that that's something that we should really consider having, whether
Me
we
too.
vend it or whatever. I
Me
think that that's a
too.
total value added. As much as I want us to get away from this concept of membership, I think that that facility lends itself to being able to control that in a way that
Yeah.
it could be responsible and fun.
Mhm.
And we could make revenue off of it.
Yeah, we got lifeguards on duty,
Mhm.
they could just, just, part of it would be.
I mean, I just
museum.
never had that experience growing up where you could bring your own margarita machine to the pool,
I
which
know,
sounds
right?
awesome. We can't really do that, but we can sell it as long as we control it. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Can add that to the lifeguard duties. Mixer is in the kitchen. Tequila's locked in my office drawer. No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
I like you.
That
Place
looks like
out.
an
It
island
must be.
station.
The
Okay.
Slip Bar.
So we have a motion. Did anybody ever have it, or did anyone have any other comments?
I just have one, Hallie, on page 15. You have a broad headline for community service groups, not for profit, but then
Oh,
you
sorry.
have the 1 through 9, and when I first read it, it was confusing to me because I thought those were the same, that was all part of community service groups. It isn't. So you would probably want another bold headline that would say something like rental information above 1 through 9, or head it however you want. Because
Oh, okay.
it looks like 1 through 9, 1 through
Yeah, I
9
think I
are
was
for
trying to
everybody.
squeeze it in
Those
on this
community
page.
service people can't smoke, but everyone else can.
Right,
Gotcha. I dialed it in on the page so it would fit
Right.
on 2 pages.
right.
Rental information.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
whatever
Yes.
you want to head
Yeah.
it. Just needs another bold heading
Yeah.
there. Right.
You can print front to back too if you want to save trees, Holly, I'm cool with that.
Really? Okay.
Totally.
I know, I'm like, can we go digital yet?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I read it at home.
Okay.
On my iPhone.
Yeah. It's so much
Um,
paper. I'm just like,
It is a lot of paper, and you can even go, front to back or whatever.
yeah, no, front to back's a great idea.
Is this is gonna come back as old?
It's going to come back as unfinished, not the fee
Unfinished.
structure, but the policy
Policy.
manual.
So we're gonna adopt the interim fee structure now, and then at some time down the road, we're
May.
going to.
This is just for you
adopt-
guys to look
We're
things
approving
in
it-
theory
The
right now, like,
idea is
this is just
of
me,
an interim
whatever,
fee
writing some
schedule.
ideas,
Is it the
so.
schedule to be in place now?
Yeah.
So my question is down the road, months or a year from now, we're gonna adopt a regular fee schedule? Or is it always gonna be
Don't we usually do
interim
that
fee
in June?
schedule? I don't know, I'm
We
just
do it
asking the
like in
question.
May or June.
I mean, I usually bring it to the table when we, after our
Budget?
budget, which is usually May,
Okay.
or the first draft
So
is
we'll,
May. And
we'll
then-
adopt an interim fee schedule,
Mhm.
we'll see how it rolls through this summer, and then next year.
'Cause the rest is
we'll adopt
adopted,
the fee
so unless I-
schedule
you
in
know.
addition to our, it'll
Right,
be part of
or-
all our fee schedules of all our
Right.
parks.
Right, or if we need to modify it before then, we can always just do it.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to clarify because we're adopting an interim fee schedule, but then we're bringing back, you know.
I mean, essentially, it's
we're not-
just this, because the rest is
I
already
just wanna
approved,
know
so
if
it's,
we're ever bringing back the interim fee schedule. or
So
it's
the-
just-
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's, I just want a clarification.
And-
so I
yeah,
understand.
no, because I kind of thought, right.
The
I understand.
political advantage of saying interim fee schedule is by the agreement that we have with the county, we're actually supposed to have the board of supervisors approve the fees that we place on the facility as well.
Mhm.
And we haven't done that. And so by saying we're approving it in interim, we're nodding to the fact that they have some sort of say, but we're gonna go forward and do it anyways. So they can include it in their June budget hearings, buried in the park department, and ratify what we've already adopted.
Cool. Sweet.
They're like 4 months ahead of us. No.
Pretty much.
That's what it feels like. I'm like, huh.
They've been doing this longer.
I know. Well,
This is
and it's
our
just
Yeah, but
they
we've been
think,
doing it well.
Yeah, they've.
We've been doing that.
First country club.
I'm like, people don't even, I don't know, like trying to get, instructors for summer or things like people around here are just like,
We're not like,
What?
that's like 3 weeks
you're si-
away.
like,
I know.
I know. It's
So
like,
for
do you have any
some of them-
jobs? I'm like, well, that was like so 6 months ago.
So we have a motion to adopt the interim fee schedule and approve in concept the policy and procedure manual with it to come back as unfinished business for further discussion in May.
Improve.
Approved in
Oops,
concept.
Approve. Like
Is there any
improve in
further
concept.
discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
And thank you for getting this together.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
It
you. I know, I was like,
really
oh,
is-
this was the shit I was supposed to get to you last month.
This is a
Sorry.
tremendous amount of work. I just, thank you for nailing down numbers as arbitrary
Yeah, I
as
was
they are.
like,
I
I-
really appreciate it.
Yeah,
you know.
no, it's good.
It's great to have.
It's a little hard for me because I was like, gosh, it's a little much, but anyway, I'm glad you guys think it's okay.
We can always
Yeah,
change it.
we can change
All
it.
Hallie wants is a fee schedule so she can just start booking the hell out of it.
That's right, that's right.
I already got my plans. I'm like, come on.
Wait, back up. You feel like these fees are too much for Bear Creek? Or in
I just,
general?
I'm always sheepish with money, but I'm getting better at being like, no, that's what it's worth, and
We're not giving
You
it
need
away.
to
But
pay
the,
it.
but the good,
Yeah.
the good thing is what we've talked about is we have other facilities
Yes,
that
yep.
are less expensive.
No, I like that.
That,
Yeah, the adult party
You
goes
can't-
here, the kid party goes here.
you can't expect to rent a country club and get annex prices,
right. It's
Really?
true. No,
So-
no, it's very true.
And I mean, you look at how cheap the Junction Park is to
I
rent
know.
out for a private party, and you got a river there, so, I
Right.
mean, we have
We have a lot of
alternatives,
options,
you
I know.
The river's
Yay.
20, the park is 3.
Okay, so we're moving on to our last item,
And everyone's invited.
which is action discussion to approve moving the BCRPD board meetings to the Bear Creek facility located at 15685 Forest Hill Drive at 7 p.m. on the following dates: May 3rd, 2017, June 7, 2017, July 2017, and August 2nd, 2017.
I heartily so move.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Oh my God.
Oh my
You guys are
God.
gonna have to drive to the meeting.
Oh,
know.
man, who's gonna give me a ride?
I know.
All 3 of you.
I never thought about that. You guys
Seriously?
maybe don't even
Don't
get
you
in
have
the
a
car.
firefighter that can drop you off?
Oh, my.
Only
If the road
road's
goes
closed.
out.
Only if the road's closed.
No, it's true. I won't be able to walk. I walk to the meeting every time I walk.
Oh, that's so
As a
true.
matter
I
of fact,
never
I
thought
read
about that.
part of the packet on my walk down.
I was thinking it might bring more people to our meeting.
That's
Well, we
like,
might get people
oh,
from out
We are
there.
gonna have
Yeah, or
people in
just
the
people that
meeting,
are like,
when I
they
tell
wanna see
people
the
it's gonna be
spot.
open for a meeting, people are just gonna wanna come out and see it,
Yes.
I bet. I mean, I think that in
Yeah.
and of itself
We
will
all
bring
playing
people.
checkers like, shh.
I know, right?
Who's gonna set up the bar?
If you make a motion, you gotta take a shot.
Is there?
I was gonna say, you have to have a little, you know,
You gotta have
Oh, sorry.
something,
I know.
right?
right, for the
I
first
think
meeting out there.
introductory shot would be just.
That'd be a good meeting.
Pledge of Allegiance.
I heartily recommend it. Is there any board discussion?
That's really good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Are we gonna bring bathing suits?
Oh my
We
gosh,
could.
May?
It's a
Is the
rec
meeting gonna be in
function.
the hot tub?
Oh, dude.
Did you do a
He's
motion
just
to adjourn
bringing
yet?
it up.
Yeah.
You know,
So much
Hold my beer.
facility.
no, this is a great idea. When we went to Italy, to the Dharma Center out there, all the people thought the Californians meditated in hot tubs. You know, it was like-
Nice.
Oh, that's what they're for? They're for men.
Now, did all who wanted to say aye?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed? No.
No.
That's such bad
Okay,
English.
we're done.
Motion carries. Thank you. A great idea, Hallie.
Oh, good.
That's gonna be him.
Yeah, I think it's a great.
We're
idea.
gonna have to come pick your butts up, I think is what I'm feeling like. I just forgot to pick.
Is there any board
We
comment?
could carpool together, the three of you. It's a long way for me to come like.
I don't
Bear
have
Creek
any.
Turn all into town. to
Okay.
get you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'm gonna do it too, Jim.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is adjourned.